Morning, friends. I am super excited on this beautiful Friday to share with you something that I know is going to be super transformational, especially if you are just like, I know I need a website, or I don't know if my website is doing what I think it needs to do, or maybe you've spent some money getting a website done and you're like, it's really not doing anything for me. It's kind of like the whole adage, build your website and they will come. And then who here knows exactly what I'm talking about? Crickets and disappointment as you realize the build your website and they will come is not necessarily true. I'm super excited because today I'm bringing on Brandon Hirst, who actually built my website as well as many of the websites of amazing business owners and entrepreneurs. And Brandon's going to share with us how to create a powerful ecosystem around your website so you can supercharge everything: traffic, leads, sales, customers, and the growth that you want. You guys ready for it? I want to see some noise in the chat. So drop some comments, drop some love for Brandon, and let's bring him on in. Brandon!
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited you're here. You guys, Brandon is the real deal. I'm so excited. And we're going to be diving into you have some really good gold around websites. Now, guys, I want to share one thing real fast with you. This is important. There are not many things that I like to talk about that I don't understand. So there are certain things where I'm just going to refer this one to Brandon. Okay, there are a lot of things where I say, I'm just going to refer this one to Brandon, because the truth is Brandon understands the things about websites and tech that I just don't understand. And at this point, I don't desire to understand. So Brandon, just quick question. I haven't done this, I don't think, with you before. Do you want to give just like a 30-second elevator bio of who you are?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Brandon Hirst. I run Brandonhurst Media, which we focus in on web design, doing development, automations, integrations, anything that basically happens online. We want to be able to connect it together and provide a good, solid solution for you, rather than just basically try to patch everything together. So that's what we really focus in on. And yeah, definitely enjoy doing what we do. And we're definitely have a nice team growing. So it's going good.
It's amazing. And
Yeah.
who here has been loving when we bring Brandon on for trainings and for, he's been doing like tech trainings for the Social Click. It's been amazing. And the truth is, I'm super excited what he's going to share today. He's going to be sharing how to empower your business by identifying and removing the roadblocks, especially around your website, so you can move your business forward. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're excited about that part. Number 2, he's going to share how to convert your traffic by building and creating, or rather, creating a solid platform ecosystem, conversion funnels, a cohesive user experience for your potential clients and customers. Drop a 2 if that's what you're excited about. And number 3, this one I think is my favorite part. He's going to share how to amplify your platform by creating content, nurturing your potential clients, automating your processes, and optimizing your platform. Drop a 3 if you're excited for that. Are you guys ready? Brandon, are you ready?
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
So
let's take it away.
yeah. So my goal today is to basically allow you guys to have a complete strategy and walk away with whatever industry you're in. So like if you're a social media manager, if you're a car wash owner, if you're have like a brick and mortar business, any of that kind of stuff, I want you to be able to really go dive in and focus on creating a strategy that's going to work for you. Now, some of you may have seen this before, but what we use to really kind of identify your pain points and figure out exactly what part of your business you need to work on is our scorecard. So one of the things that I definitely want you guys to do before like we go much further into this is download this. So this is the Brandonhurst Media scorecard. What we do is we have a bunch of different things that we identify that we know are things that are going to move the needle in your business to really build that ecosystem so that your website's actually working for you and not really just being that online pretty brochure that doesn't do anything. So before, make sure you grab that. We're going to go ahead and get things started though. So let me pull up my screen here. So when you go to brandonhurstmedia.com/scorecard, that is going to give you basically the opportunity to download it right away. You can start filling it out along when we go along through it. I'm going to walk you through just how to fill out some of the things. But this here is very important for what we're doing today, because first off, we need to figure out like where you're lacking and where we need to actually develop that strategy for you. So the way this is going to work is we have our 3 main categories. 1 is empowering your business, 2 is converting your traffic, and 3 is amplifying your platform. So this stuff here is definitely one thing that you want to focus on, because like you will start with like empowering your business, figuring out the strategy, the tracking, and sales process. Converting traffic, since all about website funnels and lead generation, and then amplifying your platform of support, automation, and content creation. So Rachel talked a bit about what the different things are, but we're really going to dive deep into like how we can actually do that and figure out like what are the different pain points and what like where you're at currently with it. So this is just kind of an example here for empowering your business. Like I said, we have strategy, tracking, and sales process. The strategy side of things, this here, I'm sure you guys have all seen a rubric, but back in school, I know back in school, you guys probably did not like rubrics, and I personally didn't either. And I used to be a teacher. Like that was one thing I really didn't like. However, when I started like looking at rubrics as something as a good process that made it to where it was like, hey, this can actually help my business or help me plan stuff and give me an idea of like, I don't know if I'm doing well or not. And then rubrics actually made sense to me. And yeah, so like back in the day though, like when I was teaching, creating them, I hated it. But like I said, now that I found an actual purpose for it, it really definitely opened up my eyes for it. So this here, the strategy column, if you've seen the rubric before, the top column is going to be the one, or the top row of the column is going to be the one that you really are like, you're exceeding well, you're on track, you know that you're doing well with it. So an example for this is, underneath strategy, you know exactly what steps need to be taken to improve your platform and move it in the right direction. You can measure and evaluate your progress. You audit and update on a monthly and quarterly basis. And then down below that, you do yearly planning and tracking your progress to see what needs improvement. And even lower, you have goals, but you don't have any way to track your progress or assess them. And then or down below is not started. It's like if you don't really have a strategy at all, that's where you would grade yourself. Now you notice we have between 4 and 7 here. It's really kind of a grading process here. No one's going to grade you on any of this kind of stuff. You don't have to worry about what number you give yourself. You just be true with yourself. Like, are you implementing these kind of strategies for your business? And if you are, like, are you doing well at it? And that's what we're doing for this. You're going to do this for each column. You obviously, as you go through it, like give yourself a 5, a 2, an 8, whatever you have for it, and then give your average score. The reason why we want to give these scores here is this is going to help identify exactly like what parts of empowering your business is going to move the needle forward. Like right now, we don't have any tracking done, but we're doing okay in our strategy and our sales process. But I mean, if we had tracking done, we know that we would be able to figure out a little bit better like idea of like what's happening in our business. So we're going to focus more on this, and we're just going to try to get up to that next level. And that's what all this rubric is used for. How do we get up to the next level? Because every time you move up a level, your business is going to move forward with it. And your actual setup is like your ecosystems is going to start working together more often. Anytime you have something that's in here that's just really lacking, the entire website ecosystem is going to feel like there's something missing. And this just helps identify what's actually missing from it. So, like I said, we'll go through this kind of stuff. Now, the strategy here, I told you I wanted you guys to walk away with like a strategy today. And with that, I'm going to use a couple different tools to kind of go over some explanations for it, figure out exactly like how we can make a good strategy that's going to work for you guys. I'll give you some examples for tracking, sales process, and some other things. But my main goal for you today is actually have a strategy so you guys know exactly where to go with it. So in here, before we dive into the strategy, I do want to go through the different sections of this. So for strategy, we already went through that. The tracking part of it, this is really figuring out if you have like an analytics dashboard set up, do you have like somewhere where you can check and see like, okay, I know all my traffic that's coming from social media is going to these landing pages, and I know what it's converting at. If you do have all that, that's great. If it's easy to find and you can actually read it, that's even better. So check and figure out where you're at on this part of it. And if you guys have, like when we go through this, if you have any questions, hold them to the end. I will have a Q&A section here. And like, I'm happy to answer any kind of questions at the end of this or anything along those lines too. So for me, what I would say is if you have some kind of website, funnel, any kind of landing page whatsoever, at bare minimum, you guys should have at least Google Analytics installed or some kind of other analytics software out there. Depending on where you're at, you may not like Google Analytics just because it can keep track of data and all that. But there's other options out there for analytics programs that is a little more GDPR friendly as well. The sales process. So this here is huge. Like before I had a sales process in my business, what I would do is I'd have some notes. A lot of it lived in my head because I'm not good with notes. But yeah, a lot of it lived in my head, and I'll admit, I'll be the first to admit some things fall through the crack. I'm normally really good at remembering things. However, one thing that I run into is running, like basically when I'm running through things and I have it all in my head, I tend to forget stuff. So if you don't do that, we have issues there.
Let's just real fast check in because I am also guilty party of one here. I used to do this and try to memorize everything, memorize the notes, memorize what we talked about. And that doesn't last as you start taking on more sales calls. But who here is like, oh, I'm so glad to know I'm not the only one and that there's actually a system I can use. So it's not just in my head, because that's a lot to carry around. I've been there. I've tried it. All right, let's keep on going. You are speaking truth, though. Keep going.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, as far as the actual process of like keeping track of things, having a sales process in your business, such as like when, let's say, someone fills out an application to work with you or a contact form. If you, let's say, take 2 weeks to get back to that person after they filled out a form, they've probably already moved on. So what you want to be able to do is have like a kind of a nurturing sequence that will, one, when they do fill something out, they get some information pretty close to it. So this sales process here, at bare minimum, you want to stay like you're messaging them as they come in, but you don't really have a system to keep it organized because you don't want those to fall through the cracks. Ideally, you're going to use a CRM to organize things. And you follow up with potential leads here and there. But like a sales process that really like stands out and works really well is you have a system that keeps track of all your leads coming in and the stages that are relevant to your sales process. Each stage is fully automated and keeps the leads engaged, and your team can easily jump in as needed with everyone on the same page. Now, this last part here is key. Even if you don't have a team, if you don't have a team that can jump in or if you don't have a team and you're just a solo person, you still want to strive for this part here, because I mean, you may forget stuff, and the more information that can easily go through and check things out with it, you can pull up all the information right away and then get on the phone with them without having to like talk to them again and say, hey, what's going on with this? Or, well, can you tell me more about your business again? Or anything like that. It just helps this whole sales process. You can get on the phone with them right away and really dive deep into it. So those are empowering your business. Like I said, go through here, fill those out for your business. Be truthful with yourself. You're not turning this into anyone. You don't have to share it with anyone. If you ever do want to hop on a call with me and have questions about any of this kind of stuff, I will ask to see it, but that's about it. But remember, lower scores are not bad. It just shows where you can improve. All right. So converting your traffic. This section obviously is huge because conversions basically means you're making sales. You're bringing people in. You're setting things up and making it to where you're actually like having new customers or clients or anything like that. The three main things that we have here are the website, the funnels, and the lead generation. So obviously lead generation is key in any business that you're in. If you don't have leads coming in and you're not making or talking with anyone, it's really hard to make sales. It's really hard to bring any money in. And I know anyone who's a business owner, that's always top of their mind. And if you're always working on referrals can dry up. You want to be able to have something else that's bringing it in. So the website stuff, obviously, I love websites. I love working on websites. I love building them. But like I learned, I learned very early on that like websites are great. And then I realized like, hey, I could build pretty ones. I can make them work or look good. But then I had clients that would be like, hey, why isn't my website doing anything for me? And it's like, well, is there anything want to come to the website? Like how can we optimize it? Do things like that. So we started really diving deep into like the funnels and lead generation and more conversion tactics here. So we really started focusing on building websites that convert better. So that's some of the things that we really focused in on. With this here, the website, having a website that works for you and converts is better than making sure that it's just looking pretty. Now, I like making websites that look good. However, it gets to the point though where like if it's pretty and it does all the things and it's not converting, it doesn't do anything for you. So the main focus for this kind of stuff is really making sure that it's converting. And what we want to do with this column here is ideally you're proud of your website. It brings in consistent leads and sales. Now, that's huge. Every page of this website is set up for conversions. You can track where a visitor has interacted, and your website demonstrates your business as an authority in its space and has a good user experience. That's what we want to strive for. Yes, there are other things that we can focus on, but this here, if your website's doing this, it's working for you. Like if you can go to sleep at night and have someone go to your website, book a call, purchase something, get ready to like set up like or sign up for a lead magnet, any of that kind of stuff, it's working for you because you don't have to do anything else to manage that until obviously the next day. It's like having someone working for you 24 hours a day. That's the nice thing about having a good website that converts. Ideally, if you're not here yet, you're going to want to be able to have like a website that's starting to bring in leads every once in a while. You can start with a website and it's not bringing in any leads, but if your website isn't bringing in leads and you're getting traffic to it, this is a big focus point that we want to get you to at least this level. So you have your websites that bring in leads every once in a while, and the user experience works, but it can be improved. Now, user experience is key when building any kind of website or having a website there. If someone goes to your website and they can't use it because there's a billion pop-ups or there's it's not mobile responsive or anything like that, where like it's just a pain to use, they're not going to stay. Just flat out. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all clicked on the website. It took started like scrolling, or like you see that spinning wheel going around, and next thing you know, it's 2 seconds later and you're already feeling like, oh man, I'm bored, and clicked out of it. So ideally you want to have that fast loading website for it. You want to have that good user experience, and this kind of stuff can make and break your business if you're relying on a website for bringing in sales or being that 24-hour a day salesperson for you. So that, like I said, that's key. You want to at least be at this level. The funnel side of thing, I'm sure you guys have all heard of funnels before. This here is like basically just a way to create or have like a landing page, sell like one product, get someone to either purchase a product with a upsell or downsell, some kind of things like that. But what the main thing that a funnel is you have like you can send someone to a landing page, and then you have like one process, and as that process goes down, you work towards a sale. That's the main goal of a funnel, and that's a very like broad statement there. There's a lot of other things that can go into it. The main thing is the difference between a website and a funnel is they both work on the same kind of platforms. However, a website would have a bunch of different offers. Funnels are more dedicated to like one style offer, one style lead magnet, whatever, anything like that. So the best thing for up here is you have complete funnels set up that are continuously tested, have automated email follow-up, landing pages that generate quality leads and sales. Each step of the funnel is tracked and it makes sense with your business goals. So the last part too is make sure that the funnels are tracked, because if you aren't tracking things with these and you're just basically stuff's coming through, whatever part of the funnel people are leaving at, you're not going to be able to optimize if you aren't tracking it. If you let's say you have 100 people go to your landing page, 30 people sign up, and then only 2 people purchase something, and what you're going to want to do is be able to track like where people are going through and figure out exactly like, okay, we lost a lot of people off at this point. How can we improve this page to get more sales? Or how can we improve our landing page to get a higher conversion rate just for that one part there? And I just saw a question come through on, should your funnel software be able to track this? Honestly, it should be. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that's tracking it. There's a lot of funnel software out there that it has tracking in it, but it doesn't necessarily provide solid numbers for tracking. And there's better solutions out there for the tracking that will give you a higher overall like nitty gritty, really get down and figure out exactly what's happening with it. That will allow you to have better analytics. But I mean, at least a bare minimum, using their analytic software, and that is going to give you some idea of what's going on. This here, if you don't have a funnel or you don't have a website, what I would recommend doing before doing anything between, like if you don't have one of these two here and you're both at a 0 for these, I'd recommend at least doing this one here, getting one landing page set up. And so you have at least one landing page for potential customers to opt in and sign up for a mailing list. Bare minimum, I would do this one before you dive into a website, just because this here is going to allow you to start collecting leads and move your business forward. And you can send any kind of like traffic to this page here before you have any of the other stuff going. So lead generation. Your website has a complete search engine optimization strategy. You're ranking well and you get a lot of traffic from search engines. You use ads, organic marketing to bring in new leads and have a system to collect those leads. So a system would be like a CRM there. This is ideal in the ideal world. There's a ton of businesses that aren't really close to here yet, because this is a lot. It's not. Don't feel bad if you're not here and you don't get there for a couple years. This takes a lot, and normally a lot of money to get to that part. However, what you can do is start coming around here, and you can start creating some content based around your keywords in your niche and have a basic plan to bring in new leads. This here, I want everyone to at least strive for this part of it. This here is going to start moving your needle forward and bringing in those leads that aren't just referrals. So, bare minimum, you know what keywords you can apply to your website, and you can start focusing on those keywords to get to the next step. So this is converting your traffic. And like I said, if you guys have questions, I'll answer them in the end of it. And so make sure you write those down so I can catch those later on too. All right. So amplifying your platform. This one here is, once you've built out the websites, the funnels, and all the other stuff that goes along with that, we want to obviously amplify it, make it better. So what we have is, one is support. I know there's a lot of people out there who they think like to build a website. Once the website's done, they don't have to do anything. Well, the thing is, if you don't have support and you don't have a plan to either support it in yourself or have someone else do it for you, what happens is the website it stops working after a while. Like whether it's the conversions aren't happening anymore, or like content's outdated, software's outdated, and you have malware or something gets hacked or something like that. You want to be able to make sure that things get updated with it. If things aren't being updated, that's where you start having issues. Now I know I've helped out Rachel in the past with working on like website support. We still work with her doing website support, but there's one incident where she had an old site on her website, like her server, that ended up getting hacked, and which brought her entire server down. And we were able to get it back up for her and do all that. And we were managing like one other site for it, but this happened on like an old site. So what I would recommend to anyone who, like, if you're doing hosting out there or anything like that, Bluehost, HostGator, any of those other, or GoDaddy, any of those kind of services that give you like a cPanel server or something like that gives you that, and you can build multiple websites on it, which they're great. However, what tends to happen is they're on shared hosting, which one is a little bit slower, but then two, if you have multiple sites on there and you have don't know really how to manage this stuff real well, it's really easy to get into and really easy to hack, which then will bring down your other sites as well. So if you ever have questions about hosting a website, like a WordPress site or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me and my team. I'm totally happy to hop on a call and give you some better options. Or we have other things that we handle as well with our hosting too.
I'm hopping in here real fast because Brandon shares that so effortlessly. He can speak to it so well that I want to share the business owner perspective who does not understand websites. So I was literally standing at the front of a classroom when the website that Brandon didn't manage, that was on the shared platform, the shared hosting, it basically became like a Trojan horse, meaning people got to go in through that website and take down my website. But the problem was, and who here's like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if this happened on a busy day or a day where suddenly you have like discovery calls or podcast interviews? So we found out it was happening literally probably 5 minutes before I'm about to go on stage and present for in 8 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything with this. The reason I share why this is so important, because Brandon's team and Brandon took care of it while I was on stage. And that's something that, well, first I couldn't have fixed either way, but especially not when I was focusing on the business stuff that grows the business. Now, I want to share this because you know how sometimes we're like, oh, I don't need that because I'll just wait. I'll just wait. I'll just wait. It's kind of like the difference between having doing consistent oil changes, doing an oil change, what, 30, 40 bucks, maybe 60 if you do premium. And we might be like, oh, I hate that I have to pay this, until, if anyone's done this, I'll raise both hands, guilty as charged. If you don't get your oil changed, and I did that in my 1989 Blazer, your engine overheats and gaskets can blow, which can end up setting you back thousands of dollars. And the reason that I appreciate Brandon sharing this and caring about this and being passionate about the things that most business owners don't understand and don't need to understand is because it is the equivalent of getting an oil change on your car so that your gasket doesn't blow. And that's what happened that day for me. So in case you have any questions about that portion, and I know Brandon still has more gold to give, just reach out to him. There's his website right there, because he is honest, he's ethical, and he's legit. Keep going, Brandon. You're awesome.
All right, thanks. So yeah, definitely figure out, whether you're doing maintenance yourself or doing it for, or having someone else do it, make sure you're doing it. So we'll go back into the scorecard. So in an ideal world, you're going to have a maintenance schedule to keep everything up to date, secure, and backed up offsite. Now, the reason why I say offsite is because, like, let's say your backup solution is by your hosting provider, and that's what gets hacked. Then how are you going to have a good, solid backup that is going to fix that? So have it offsite, and there's multiple services out there that will set it up. Good one, if you are doing stuff yourself, is Blog Vault. For WordPress, that works really well, and it's fairly cheap with it too. You have a team of professionals that can handle requests such as content changes, so you can focus or stay focused on your business. Now, this part here, you're going to get to a point in your business where it makes sense to not do everything yourself. It took me a while to figure that out, and I'm glad I finally did figure it out, because when you, like, as a business owner, you're going to have a ton of stuff coming in at you. You may be really good at a lot of things, but there's people that are better than you at doing a lot of those things. And the thing about it is, if you're so spread thin focused on trying to do everything yourself, you're not doing what you do best at the best capacity that you can do it. And that was one thing that it really took me a long time to figure out. But I mean, I'm glad I did. It was definitely a game changer for my business when I started focusing on, like, hiring people. Like, one thing that I thought I could do, and, like, I know I can do it, is accounting. I can figure it out. I can hook it up with QuickBooks, go in there, check it out, do all that. But however, I'm not good at it. It's not something that I can do fast. So, like, every time I'd go in there to figure or do my books and all that, I'd get it done, but it would take so long for me to do it where I could just hire an accountant to do it for me. And honestly, like the amount of that I'm paying them in comparison to how much time I spent on it is a night and day difference. Like it was one of those things that like I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I do this 2 years ago? It was like crazy. Like I was killing myself trying to do this stuff because I was so focused then on like wanting to do everything myself because I'm the business owner. I know how to do this. I'm awesome. I can do this. But I mean, ideally, if I can do it, yes, it's great. But time is the thing that really is a necessity for us to have. And having more time so you can grow your business and actually do the things that you're good at is the thing that you want to focus in on. So that's why up here in the top part is you have a team of professionals. So like for us, we are on that team of professionals for Rachel. She's able to focus in on what she can do on her business. So like when something does happen, she has someone she can reach out to with it. That is key for that. So like if there's anyone that needs help with that kind of stuff, I'm happy to like hop on a call, discuss any kind of like setup for it, any of that there. But like I said, that's the holy grail. That's where you want to get to with support. And once again, though, we're talking about websites today, but find this support for any part of your business that you can outsource, like that accountant or something to do your taxes, any of that kind of stuff. That is going to be key for anything. So the next thing here, so I kind of nerd out with this part here, the automation bit, nurturing and automation. I love doing automations and integrations and doing all that, like with Zapier, using webhooks to connect things. I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things to do. So it's this here is we're definitely going to dive into this part with the strategy side of things. The holy grail for this one is we want to have or like your website and funnels, email, and anything else that can be automated is automated and is checked on a regular basis. You have advanced email automation to nurture your audience. So I am really bad about nurturing my audience. I'll be the first to admit it. I know how to do it. I know how to like make posts, how to email people. However, it's always like the last thing on my mind. So what I've done is I've done automations that helps do that. So the automation side of my business is really big. And that's how I nurture my audience with it. If I didn't have that, people would probably only get an email from me once every quarter, maybe, if that. However, I have like kind of some advanced email automations that will actually go through and set things up for me. So like anytime someone signs up with the email list, they get an email every week for about a year or so. And what it does is just gives them value, not selling, but value to really kind of like go in there and give them ideas on how they can help improve their websites. So that's how I use automation to make my life easier. But as far as this part, you want to be able to nurture your audience, and that's how we can focus on that. Bare minimum, you manually follow up with things, but you don't have an automated process. And with following up with things, or basically the manual process is like, let's say you get a new lead that comes in on your website contact form, or someone who signs up for a lead magnet. Once they sign up, you have a new manual process of like sending them a welcome email or sending them an email with that lead magnet to deliver the email. There's really easy things to do you can do to automate it, but at bare minimum, you're doing something like that. Because any kind of manual sequence that you have or manual process, there's going to be a way to automate at least parts of it that you can go through and do it, whether it's getting that information to an easier source for you to get to or start it, or if it's basically taking it from, hey, this person signs up, deliver the product, sign up for this email list, and now let's nurture them for X amount of days or weeks, whatever. There's always a way to make it a little more automated. So content creation, this is our last section of amplifying your platform and the scorecard. This is still a huge key though. So ideally, to make sure like you guys are on track and you guys are doing well, this is where you want to be. You have a content plan for blog posts, video, photography, and graphics. These are huge. Like there's a lot of businesses that still aren't doing all of these. However, I mean, doing parts of these is going to be moving your business forward. Your content brings value to your potential clients and customers and is relevant to your business. Now, you can be doing blog posts, video, photography, and graphics, but if it doesn't align with this, that your content is bringing value to your potential clients and customers, you're not going to, none of it's going to make sense to any of your clients. You're not going to move your business forward with this part, because in order for a client to really or like a potential client to come in there and really understand and want to work with you, you have to go through and make sure like it's actually relevant to what you can do to offer them. So that's one thing you want to do. You post new content on a daily or weekly basis. So depending on the size of your business and depending on what your strategy is, obviously you can post multiple times a day, but you always want to be generating some kind of content there. At bare minimum, you have a blog to keep you have a blog that you can post every once in a while. Now, if you're a social media manager and you don't have a blog, that's totally fine. Or like if you're like any business owner and don't have a blog, as long as you're putting content out there somewhere, somewhere where your potential clients are, that's the bare minimum. Do something with that. If you are let's say posting on TikTok, or you're posting on Instagram or Facebook or any of those kind of stuff, you can easily go through and just set it up to where you're making your content there. Don't feel like you have to have that blog. Don't feel like you have to put on your website. The nice thing about blogs though is it's content that will always be there. It will always basically be there on your website. People can go to it. We have a blog that we've gone through, set things up on the on our blog. It's called Resources. We have a lot of different posts there that are actually helpful to business owners or people who want to have a website or have questions about websites. And we don't post to it too often. However, we do have is content that's always there and that's relevant to people for it. Where if you post something on Facebook, it may be there, but it's not going to be as easy for people to find. And the nice thing about blogs are they are going to start showing up in search engines. So if they're trying to search for a certain topic, you have potential to show up there. And obviously, if you optimize it with lead generation strategies, that is going to be helpful there. So that is the scorecard. Like I said, fill these out. Don't be that person that gives yourself a 10 on everything. I mean, if you're a 10 on everything, that's great, but I don't know any business owner that's a 10 on everything, because there's always places to improve with that.
I mean, I would love to think I'm a 10 on everything, but I don't even think I am at this point, because I've seen how much work goes into keeping everything running. So who here is like, dude, this has already been so much value. You still have more to share, right?
Yeah.
We still have some more to share. And I know some of you guys will have to hop out so if you do, I am actually going to ask Brandon real fast, just really fast, like 30 seconds. I know some people are like, this is the first time that someone has explained websites and website ecosystems to me in a way that makes sense. And some people who here has been like, dude, this is amazing. It's very, very rare that you get to hear this kind of insight and value from the people who are usually hiding behind the computers doing all the intense work. And so it's really special when Brandon comes here. Now, I'm going to share with you guys a few links, including just one more time, the scorecard link. And Brandon, while I do that, can you actually just real fast share if people want to learn more about working with you before we dive into the rest of the value in this training, what does that look like? And I will drop the links.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a couple different ways for anyone who can work with me. One is if you guys want help on everything that happens in that scorecard and the entire ecosystem there, we have our signature system that basically helps with that entire part of it, that can go through and do every part of that aspect for your business. And of course, we start out with strategy, which is the main thing that we're going to go through and allow you to figure out exactly what is going to move the needle for it. So the other thing is, if you're not ready for that style of help yet, I do have a system it's kind of an all-in-one platform that allows you to create websites, funnels, and other landing pages, all of that there with the easy to build website builder that also has a lot of different templates. We have options where it's not only a DIY platform, but it has a done for you style as well. We have an option to do a complete custom site for you with a small monthly plan that allows you to really dive deep and like get that custom plan with a strategy involved for it. So yeah, if you're someone that's looking for that kind of stuff, that's basically set up there. And yeah, it's all built in WordPress. So set up for SEO, the blogs are set up well. It's basically a nice ecosystem that will allow you to build things out. And if you do have any questions on that kind of stuff, I'm happy to hop on a call and walk you through the platform and do a demo too.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing. And now let's dive into the rest of the training because there's a lot of gold still. Isn't he good? Everybody drop some quick love for Brandon because I love when Brandon hops on and shares value. I love the way he explains things. He's very calming and consistent, and it's wonderful. All right, let's go, Brandon. Oh, not like the signature phrase. I forgot that that's like, never mind. Go. It wasn't meant to be a pop culture reference. Let's go.
All right. So now, like I said in the beginning, I want you guys to walk with the strategy. Now we have our scorecard, and like I said, we have our scorecard. You guys should have this all filled out. This here is going to help identify the key areas in our strategy that we need to focus in on. We're going to start here though. And ideally we want you to get here. You know exactly what steps need to be taken in order to move your platform in the right direction. We use our scorecard to identify a lot of those. And you can measure and evaluate your progress. You audit and update on a monthly and quarterly basis. So this here, the reason why I say you audit on a monthly and quarterly basis is what I do. We figure out exactly like every quarter what I'm going to focus on for this quarter. Now, on a monthly basis, though, I want to know like what I'm doing each month, where we're making progress for that quarterly plan, and really figure out exactly like, hey, are we making progress? So we can help identify those areas that we still need to work on. So what we're going to do is use a tool called Whimsical. Now, the cool thing about this, if you just go to, it's whimsical.com. The cool thing about this is it's free. I'm still on a free plan. You guys can totally like go to basically sign up for the free plan and use it for a long time. I have a ton of stuff that's in here. It does get to the point like when you do need to upgrade to it, and it's like, I think it's like $10 a month or whatever. But overall, the nice thing is it's a super solid platform for creating like storyboards, mind maps, all that kind of stuff. And I use this all the time for planning things out for like the actual strategy. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to start with a business. Now, can I actually, we'll go ahead and ask people in the chat real quick. What's a business, or can someone name a business that we can go through? I'm guessing we have a few like social media managers, something like that in here. I was going to use that, but if there's someone in here that has a certain business and wants me to help strategize for that business, I'm happy to do that. We'll see if we have anyone drop anything in the chat. Oh, okay. Social media manager, the first one that pops up. All right, we'll use that. So our business is going to be social media. Wow, social media management. Now, with that being said, this is our main business, and the reason why I'm just throwing that out there is just so we know exactly like what it is. Now, based on the scorecard, we're going to assume that we'll just go in here and throw some stuff in here. We'll say like the website is at like a 2, and the funnels are at like we'll say this is also a 2, just so they're equal going across there. Lead generation's at a 3, and just like this, we'll assume that things are happening a little bit. We're started with stuff, but we don't necessarily know, like we're not at the top of this, because like I said before, if you don't know where you're at on this, it's really hard to come up with a strategy. And like the tracking, like I said, we're just going to assume everything's at the 2 part. Okay. You started it, but it's not in the mid tier yet. All right. So we'll go back to our strategy part. Now, since our website's at a 2, and we want to improve our website, like improve like the actual setup for it, we're going to do a mind map real quick. And we want to strategy. We're going to throw in a couple different things. We'll throw in website, funnels, lead gen, and then we have like our support. Let's see. I think we'll focus on that stuff. Or no, let's do automation as well. These are going to be our main kind of strategy that we're going to focus on today. Obviously, there's more to the scorecard than that, but this is where we're going to focus. I'll add those other categories in there if we have time. So for our website, we'll say we need to audit our website. Now, the reason why I say we want to audit our website is to, one, figure out like what's working on our website, what's not working. The other thing that we want to do is we want to install a chat bot. That's going to help us with some conversions. Or an easy way for people to set things up. The other thing we're going to want to do is probably, we'll say, make sure our application or our contact form is working. So we have those. Our website to make sure it's converting. Those are our main things I want to do. I'm assuming we have some kind of value. We're just talking about the automation side, the conversion side of things. I'm assuming someone already has kind of a brochure style website with this. If they didn't have a website, like there's no website, obviously we need to build a website. But with this, like I said, we're focusing on someone who has a website, but it's not necessarily working for them yet. We just want to focus in on getting those other things started and making sure that we can get those to convert. So the funnels, we're going to assume we have a basic lead magnet that just basically signs up. Anyone who doesn't know what a lead magnet is basically a lead magnet for a funnel is like, let's say it's a free resource for someone that's going to help like your ideal audience, like do something with it. So like an example for my stuff, we'll look over here. So on Hirst Media, we have a few different things. Like, so for instance, this here is a lead magnet that I have. It's 5 essentials for keeping your website safe. This is just a quick download that someone can get where here, like, are you keeping your websites, your WordPress website protected? And if they want information, they click yes, they click this, they put in the name and email, and it does just a basic lead magnet. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to also audit landing pages. Now, you're gonna figure this out that we use audit a lot, and the reason why an audit is good, audit may be one of those words that just doesn't necessarily sound all fun and fancy and sexy and all that. However, it does identify what's wrong with it and what's good and what needs improvement. The thing is, you may think that things are great, but until you have someone go through and look at it, or you sit down and actually really figure out, like, are we meeting these kind of things on this checklist? That's when you start identifying like where we can improve with it. And if you don't know where you can improve, then it's really hard to actually improve. So yeah, the funnels side of things, we want to audit our landing pages. And what we're going to do is we're also going to set up a product for purchase, and then we want to set up the automation. And the other thing we want to do is set up a nurture sequence. So the nurture sequence is going to be like how many emails they get after they sign up for it. Lead gen, this stuff here, this is where we're going to focus in on to make sure, like, one, we have the actual like process of things coming in. And you know what, actually, I'm going to add one more to this. I'm going to add in sales process. I think this is going to be key for any of this kind of stuff for people starting out with this. So lead gen, this is going to be one. We want to audit it. Audit lead. We'll just do audit leads for that. So basically, it's just auditing the lead generation. The other thing we want to do is set up some kind of like blog or SEO for your blog and things like that. We'll say SEO we'll just say for the website, for the full on site. So we want to make sure like our lead generation is done. We have to have our audit the lead generation and then the SEO for his website. Support is, we don't necessarily need to audit this, but we do need to figure out like one, if it's like at this point, most of the time, if you're like a 2, if we're assuming we're a 2 on everything, for like the support as well, you're going to be updating the software and stuff yourself. I'm hoping you're at least doing that. Especially after today, you're going to want to at least be doing this. And please, everyone make a commitment to at least be doing this. That's one key thing. So you're going to be auditing or setting this up, but we want to set up an automation for support. We also want to be able to have a schedule for checking in. So this here, like I said, you can hire people to do this. I have a plan that's like it's like 147 a month for our essentials, but what we do is we have daily backups. We have basically if you ever have content changes, you send it over to it. So we handle it for you, and it basically keeps everything updated and secured. This here is going to be one of those things, like if you can afford to do that, do it, because it's going to save you a ton of time and make sure everything is working better for your site. But at bare minimum, once you want to do what you want to do is set up automation for your support on your kind of things, for like backups and stuff like that, and then a schedule for checking in on your website yourself. Because there's a lot of people that I know who have a website but haven't checked it in over a month, and things are breaking on it and things just aren't working the way it is. Because if you don't have that schedule for checking in on things, and like let's say we have a chat bot there or application form, and like your application form isn't breaking, but you're sending traffic there, you're sending traffic to basically a dead page. That's the quickest way to get someone to not work with you. So you definitely want to make sure that's working. Same thing with your funnels. You want to be able to have a schedule to check in on that kind of stuff. Sign up for your own lead magnets, because you may find out that, hey, one of the email sequences got turned off, or the product isn't working, or anything like that. This is just one of those quick, easy ways to do that, and making sure you have your schedule for it. So my favorite one, automation, and it just worked out that it's yellow, which is definitely my favorite color too there. Automation is that key thing that we want to focus in on, as far as we'll say nurturing our clients. We'll say for sending lead magnets. The other thing that we want to do for the social media management stuff is for automation is if you can schedule posts. Rachel has a ton of good automations and things like that you can do with this. So like definitely check out her for more information if you want more stuff for the social media stuff and automation. The other thing is we want to be able to just figure out like for instance, if anything else in our business that can be done, like for instance, that schedule for checking in is to remind you. So this one here is, let's see, for this one here, we'll go ahead and say send email reminders. This one here is nice because like you can send like an email reminder or a text reminder, whatever you prefer, to yourself when you need to check in on stuff. Or I mean, if you have a process like we use ClickUp, we have basically set up that allows you to go through and just do like a recurring task. So we have stuff that pops up once a month or to check on things right away. But if you don't have something like that, you can at least send email reminders or text reminders. So the sales process, this process here is going to, one, make sure that people can sign up. And this is going to happen through either the chatbot or application form. But we want to tag people. We want to move them along in the process, identify each stage. You know, I'm going to get rid of this one because that's kind of implied with the rest of it. But yeah, we want people for the sales process, people to sign up, identify each stage for this. And starting out, we also want to make sure that people can basically, or you know exactly like their contact history with it. So this here, we took the website, funnels, lead gen, support, automation, and sales process from our scorecard. So in order to get to those next levels, and like I said, we're assuming where everyone is at a 2 right now, but to get to those next levels, we want to just check out and say, okay, right now we're manually doing a follow-up things, but we want to start automating some other things, like with the basic email automation, the support, all that. It's all there. You guys have this. We want to take this here and figure out how we're going to do it. Now, one thing I like to do is I'm going to take this and, you know, I'm going to move this over here for now. Throw that there. And I'm going to add in, let's see, then move some of the settings around. I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right things. Where did they go? Not icons. You know what? I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to grab it from a different section.
And while Brandon does that, who here is like, oh, dang, this is pretty cool? Anyone love like the in-depth way that Brandon's mind works and how he organizes information? Because one thing that's really fascinating, and not everybody knows this, but like every week I connect with Brandon and 2 other people, and we all connect and we learn from the way each other's minds work because it's so different. Wouldn't you say that's pretty true?
Yeah, definitely. It is awesome. Like that's definitely a highlight of my week.
Mine too. Every single time we do it, I'm like, dang. So what's interesting is Brandon is very, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you're very logical in your step by step. Would you say so? It's like linear, logical. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
I would say
different.
so. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's fascinating, and I always learn from Brandon. Like every single time he shares, like, here's how I'm organizing this. I'm like, oh dang, that's so good. Let's keep going.
All right. Cool. So I just grabbed something from a different strategy we were demo I was doing before. But basically what we have here is, like I said, for strategy, we break things up on a quarterly basis. The reason for it is, one, it's 3 months. It's easy to plan out. Anytime you have goals set up longer than 3 months, it tends to be not necessarily like a long-term goal, but I'd say anything over 3 months, I consider a more long-term goal, where when you have 3 months set up, it's easier to keep track of and easier to like keep it front of mind. And when you have your goals more front of mind, it allows you to really actually make the goals happen, and like achieve those goals. So what we're going to do, we're going to figure out how we're going to dive into this. And actually, like, I'll get rid of some of these cards real quick. How we're going to improve this kind of stuff. So month 1, we want to focus in on the stuff that's really going to help like move the needle forward. So the sales process is nice, but having the sales process, like, we can do a lot of that manually. It just takes a lot more time to do it. But having like a application form or contact form, that kind of stuff, is really going to be one of those things that we want to make sure is working well. So one of the things we're going to do is we have audit in a lot of these. So we're going to go ahead and just audit our ecosystem, which a lot of you guys have already started doing that today by using the scorecard. But auditing the ecosystem is really going to help identify where you're failing and stuff. We know where we're at with this kind of stuff, but now we can audit those individual things. So like auditing the website, the landing pages, lead generation, auditing the different parts here to figure out exactly like what's broken, what's working for you. And like I said, don't just look at it, actually dive deep into it. Like, make sure, like, one, your landing pages work. Make sure that the different links and stuff like that on your website are not broken, or they, like, let's say you are linking to a resource and that resource is no longer available. You want to actually make sure that kind of stuff is set up. So we're going to audit our ecosystem. The other thing that we're going to do is that's really going to be helpful for this is we're going to set up our application form or contact form. So month one, auditing things normally takes quite a bit of time if you're doing it well. I mean, you can do it quickly, but like I said, if you do it well, just so you actually know what's working. But then we're going to build out our application form or contact form. The other thing is, since we already have a funnel set up with a landing page, we are going to make sure, like, as long as it's working, and a lot of that stuff here, once we figure out like if stuff is working, some of the stuff can move along the way. But the strategy, we're just assuming that things are working. We found stuff in our audit. We just want to improve stuff. So month one, we're auditing our stuff. We're doing our application. And then we are also going to set up our funnel automation. So, and what I do is I just move the cards down here, and for most important to least important, just to go and basically get that kind of stuff in there. If you are manually sending stuff out, that's great, but at least make sure that you're doing some of the stuff there. And yeah, I will share a copy of this when we're done as well. So for lead gen and the other things like that, that stuff is important, but we do want to make sure like this kind of stuff isn't obviously we can't do all of this in month one. So the next thing that we want to focus in on is the actual like sales, or we'll say chatbot for month two. We should be able to honestly, for this kind of stuff, finish this in month one, depending on how much time you're working on it. But what we want to do is not put too much there, because like obviously if you have this kind of stuff for this, it's going to take time. Right? If you, I don't know, the quickest way to not achieve a goal is to make it to where it's too overwhelming. And when things are too overwhelming, it's really easy to procrastinate and not do it. So breaking it down, like, okay, we're going to audit our stuff. We're going to make sure our application's working and our funnel automation's done. And I'm only going to do that, focus on that for month two. If you get a burst of energy or anything like that during month one and everything's done, obviously you can take this and move it to month one. You can do that. But what we want to do is really focus in on those things. And these can be big, they can be small, but just know that when you check this off, you're moving the needle forward and things are better in your business because of it. So month two, we're going to get our chatbot done. This chatbot basically is just one of those things that helps.
I'm going to pause real fast, only because once in a while, Restream will make the audio kind of like fuzzy, that little connection. So Brandon, can you exit and come back? And then he'll be back in just a moment. So we've obviously dealt with this before. So I'm like, yep. Oh yeah, we're pros. We know exactly what to do when that happens. So Brandon will be back in like now. All right, let's bring him on in. There we go. Go for it, Brandon.
Okay, so yeah, the chatbot basically is one of those things that allows you to have like a quick questions answered, or have someone like hop in there, and let's say you have some frequently asked questions that people always ask, like, hey, I'd like to book a call with you. Great, let's send over my calendar link. Or hey, if you have any questions, you can text us here and we can go ahead and set that up to where it either books a call or offers a product, offers support. If you have a team with you, that's awesome, because what you can do is set it up to where, hey, they have a technical question, let's send them to the tech guys. If they have a more of a sales question, send them to the sales team. Any of that kind of stuff, that's what a chatbot can help do for that. So the other thing that we're going to focus in on, so we know the month two, we're already doing our website stuff. That's all handled there. Month two, if you have a product, we're going to assume that you guys have a product ready to sell. So we want to set up a product. We'll set up product in funnel. Now, this here is you can do it at multiple ways. What we're going to do though is, as long as it aligns with a lead magnet, is we're going to set this up as a tripwire, and I'm going to show you guys how that works with a funnel, or like once we're done with our strategy. But what it does is it basically allows us to take that existing landing page that we already have and put a product behind it that someone might be are interested in purchasing. It just allows you to like showcase it there. But then also we'll have a dedicated landing page that sends, you can send people to purchase our product as well. And then obviously we want, or no, we already have our funnel automation. Then we want to work on our nurture sequence. All right. So these three things are also big. We're not going to overload ourselves again for month 2. And then we're going to focus on month 3. So month 3, we're already doing some of this stuff from automation. Like we're going to work on nurturing. The funnel automation is like with the sending lead magnets, schedule email reminders, that kind of stuff we can do. But what we really want to focus in on this part is the sales process. Automation is on the last part of it for Amplify your platform, because obviously you can do this kind of stuff manually. But I mean, it's one of those things that you can go ahead and actually set it up, and like you can do it manually. This just makes life easier. Amplify your platform, a lot of this stuff is making life easier and bringing more stuff in based around what you've already built out. And if we are in 2s on the other things, we want to make sure those 2s go up first. So sales process is what we're going to focus in on. We're going to set up our sales process. Now this is huge, obviously, because there's one, we want to make sure people can sign up, tag people, identify each stage, and have kind of a contact history of how they've been contacted. So this kind of stuff here, this is a lot, and I don't think I'll have enough time to dive into it too much. However, I can give you an example, just using Whimsical if you don't want to use any software, just because there's a lot that I would have to dive into for that. If anyone does have questions with sales process and that in the future, I'm happy to answer any kind of questions there too. So the sales process, this one here, I know is going to take most likely a week or 2. And obviously that's not straight, but it's like setting things up and doing all that. And we, like I said, we don't want to over complicate things. We don't want to make it too much. So I'm probably only going to put 2 things here for month 3. And then what we're going to do is we have our sales process, and then we're going to focus in on that lead generation. So we're going to say start SEO. So SEO or social media campaign. So those things are what we're going to do. We're going to focus in on those for this quarter. Now, if you accomplish these for this quarter, you're doing it. You're doing a ton. Like there's a lot here. You're going to be moving the business forward if you are legit actually doing this kind of stuff and getting those there. Because one, you're setting up your ecosystem for better success. You've gone through, you've audited, you know what's broken, what needs to be fixed. We're going to set up our application form. We're going to set up a funnel automation. So like people are getting lead magnets, and we have a nurture sequence and that kind of stuff set up. We're going to have a chat bot. We're going to set up a product in the funnel. And then for the nurture sequence, we're going to make sure that people actually receive like emails once a week for a year, or a nurture sequence that sets things up to where people are getting emails every day for a week or so after they sign up for a lead magnet. Something that just makes it to where like, hey, after they downloaded something or purchased something, they're still getting more from you. And one thing that people I see happen a lot is people will try to sell more than actually give value. And I found that when you do that, when you do that, you don't seem like an authority in your space, for one, because you feel like you have to sell everything rather than help give more value. I know I can give people a ton of value and they'll still come work with me because I provide a ton of value in what I do with work. But then also with how much I give away, they know that there's got to be more that once they do purchase something, there's more I can do to help them with. Now, this here, all this kind of stuff we do, and we can do it really well. but it's one of those things that if you have the time to do, or to basically hire other people out, there's tons of people who can help you with that kind of stuff, and I know that we can help as well. So I'm happy to help with any of that stuff there. But setting up that nurture sequence, one thing that we've done is we've gone through and we've set it up to where, like, let's say someone signs up for a lead magnet, and after they sign up for lead magnet, basically the way ours work is they'll get some information for a week or so after that lead magnet, and what it does is it gives more information based around the topic that they did. So like if you were to come here to my website, sign up for this one here, you're going to get emails for probably, I think it's, this one's like 4 or 5 days for the sequence, and there each one of them is going to be one of those things that is going to tie back into like keeping your website safe. Because the thing is, you don't want people to basically set up a bunch of, or get a bunch of emails in here that doesn't pertain to like what actually is like what you signed up for, because obviously you're interested in this. So the nurture sequence needs to go along with those. That's what we're signing up with that. Now the sales process, this here is one going to just having some kind of process for you to contact people, for you to actually move forward and like get them from point, like being that potential client to being a client. So that entire process that goes along with that. Month 3, we're also focusing in on that SEO and social media campaign. And those two things are like, pick one or the other. Don't do both of these. For me, since I don't know this business, I in particular, but for a social media manager, they're probably going to want to focus on that social media campaign because that's what they basically are doing there. And yeah, Lisa asked, can it be a discovery call? I'm guessing that was for the sales process. Yeah, discovery calls definitely is part of the sales process. So this is what we focus in on month or for this quarter. Now, if you notice, this is a lot of stuff over here. We didn't get to everything that's in this, but these are the things that we identified throughout the audit and throughout like the strategy, what we can do to help improve it, but and basically move stuff forward. There's other things we can do in this and move it to like, let's say the next quarter. Like, so basically what I would do here is, well, if I wanted to, I can just copy and paste this next to it. So then continue moving on with like month 4, 5, and 6 to allow you to basically plan out other stuff. One thing I like to do as well is like basically setting up like another slot for this. Like we'll say month 3, we'll just duplicate that, and this can be we'll say other, and the other column can be like keeping these things front of mind in case we finish this stuff early or you need to move stuff around. This here is it's just kind of a catch-all for anything else that it wasn't handled over here. So yeah, like I said, we focused in on the 3 months of stuff for the strategy and figuring out exactly what we need with it. Now, if you do this once a quarter, you have your solid idea of like what you need to do for that quarter, and then this is planning it. Now, if you, let's say, you could either print this out and then throw this out and put on your desk, whatever. You can mark things off, or you can leave this up on your desktop and just keep it somewhere front of mind so you guys are constantly looking at it and checking back to it. I have a kind of a process that I go through as well that will allow me to say, okay, this is where I'm at this month. These are my projects I'm working on. I have to do this kind of stuff, and then where am I at with it, and how can I improve it to make sure the stuff is working forward or like moving forward and getting stuff done. Now, what tends to happen is if we are focusing on this kind of stuff, and then like, let's say we plan it out, we strategize it, and then we don't like refer back to it, you forget about things. So like I said, print it out, have it there front of mind, and follow up with yourself every month. Remember, what we want to do is we want to get to, exactly what steps need to be taken to move your platform in the right direction. We did that. We know what steps need to be taken. And now you can measure it and evaluate your progress. So, and then you audit and update on a monthly and quarterly basis. So we know how we can audit it, because if we're doing this, we check it off. Month 1 is here, month 2 is here, month 3 is there. And then each quarter, I'm going to make a commitment to do this. So that's why we wanted to create this section here. So if everyone is doing this and you're consistently doing that, you're going to be up here. You can achieve a tenant strategy. It's super easy to do that. You just have to make the commitment to yourself that you're going to continue to do that and make sure that it makes sense for your business. People that can break this down and do it, any of the clients that I have that we focus on with doing this kind of stuff, this is exactly what moves the needle forward every month for them. We come up with our plan. We say, okay, this is what we're going to handle this month. We're going to build out these new funnels this month. We're going to set up our new application form. We're going to set up do some A and B split testing. We're going to do all that kind of stuff. And then once month one is done, we know that stuff is good. We check it off. We're good. We know exactly what's going to happen month two. We don't have to go back to the strategy board or anything because we already created the strategy. We know what has to be done for our business. So that is how we go through and set things up for the strategy. Now, I want to show you guys a couple other things. And I'll share that board with you guys too. Actually, let me grab this link. Link, can view, copy link, and Rachel, I'm dropping this link in the private chat. If you can post it up there.
So for those of you who are saying, oh no, the screen is blurred, we got you. You ready for it? Who wants the diagram? Ah! So excited to share this with you guys. Here we go. Beautiful.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So I want to show you guys some funnel, basic lead magnet funnel flows that and the automation stuff. If you guys can imagine, I actually use Whimsical as well to plan out my funnels, just because one, it's really easy. So the ones that I use for this is the flow chart. So basically, you just grab a flow chart and then start typing stuff out like that. For me, what I do is like we start with our landing page, and then this is our basic one when we talked about this here on funnels. When you have at least one landing page for potential customers to opt in and sign up for a mailing list. So that's this here. Now, when we're looking at setting things up for month two, or I think it's month one, the funnel automation, the automation that I want to happen at this part is when they sign up, I want them to receive, we'll say, we're going to modify some of this, receive lead magnet. So when they receive that lead magnet, they're going to get an email sequence here. The first one is 5 emails that follow up with the initial lead magnet. I guess I already had that in there. But basically, they receive the email lead magnet. They get the 5 emails that go to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add them to my main email sequence as well. The main email sequence for me is one, everyone gets an email after they sign up for something once a week about websites. And that email sequence lasts for about a year. The main thing with that is, like I said, I'm not good with following up with doing nurturing and all that. However, I've set up an email sequence that is an automation that's nurturing clients for it that will still give value to people for basically once a year afterwards. So yeah, that is how I handle just a basic one. And this is what I would want you guys to do for your basic stuff. So for month one, or sorry, for month two, we're focusing in on making sure like your nurturing and stuff like that is done. Month one, we are doing your automation. So this is just the basic funnel automation. So you send those emails out. So anyone, they're automatically getting those. Now in those email follow-ups that you send out, one thing you want to do is make sure you're not selling. Like that's what we don't want to do right there. You can, at the end of the emails, just go ahead and like drop a link to one, like, hey, if you have questions, feel free to reach out, or if you have questions, like book a call, or you can do like a PS or anything like that. But the main thing is you can do some kind of sales in it with just making sure that it's still, like, I'd say 90% focused on like giving value. And like, I'm not talking about like just basic, super like, hey, if you have a lead magnet, you can do XYZ with it, and then have the rest of the email all about sales and that kind of stuff. Give them actual like steps that they can take to improve it. So like on this one here, one of the emails is like about different things you can do to keep your website safe. There are things you can do to help update your website, things like that. But it's not necessarily just saying, hey, come sign up for one of my technical support plans. It's more about these are ways you can do it. At the end of it, it doesn't have an email for people to go through and say, hey, if you want help doing this kind of stuff, then yeah, come contact us. We know how to do it. But I've also given you the tools that you can do it yourself, because I find it important that you guys want to do that. And obviously, if you're signing up for like, is your website safe? You're going to want to, it's already top of mind. Like, hey, yeah, I don't know. Is my website safe? Is that going on? And then giving you the tools to at least do stuff yourself or come work with us is what our end goal is for that. So month 2, we also talked about adding in a product. So what we're going to do is we have like a tripwire product. So like we have basically here a landing page, and then what we're going to do is offer a small product. So it can be like whatever product is. I'm just going to move this into, we'll say product here. So whatever product it is, it can be big, it can be large or small, whatever. Smaller products generally work better for this, but what it's doing is it's just helping getting that front of mind. What I would do for anyone who is a 2 on the web success scorecard here in funnels, I would create a landing page dedicated to this product and just put it behind this, or like as a thank you page, because 1, it's getting people in front of it, but then 2, when you have a secondary landing page for it, you can still send people to it for that. That's bare minimum style stuff. It at least gets the more eyeballs on it when you put it in this sequencer. And obviously this is a little bit more of an advanced sequence. But the main thing is we're able to get more eyes on it. And when you get to that part, you can go ahead and set up more of the automations and things like that. So this kind of stuff is definitely one of, we do this a lot with clients and setting these things up. You can make funnels extremely complicated. You can make them to where they have a ton of different steps and do all that, but you don't have to do it. You can, like I said, start with this, get your basics done with the automations, and get people nurtured and get them set up, ready to go. And then when you're at the point where you have a product you can sell, or like, let's say you want to do a strategy call or something like that, a good sequence for this, like let's say, I'll modify this one real quick and make a duplicate. For a social media manager, what I would do for a basic landing or basic sales funnel, we're going to go ahead and add another step. We're going to say book a call offer. Now, this one here, this can be a thank you page / book a call. And what this would look like is on this thank you page, we're going to send them straight to a calendar. Like you can use like Calendly or anything like that, but it allows someone to pick something right away and easily book a call with them. And then you can have your thank you page on the end of that. Now, the reason why I would say this here is a lot of the times people are more comfortable talking about stuff over the phone or over a Zoom call, whatever. But this one here is going to give you the opportunity to get people signed up and like get them on a face-to-face call or a phone call, whatever, after they're already getting information in from you. And if you can get someone to like book a call on this page, they're going to get their lead magnet. They're receiving value from you. They're going to see stuff that they like. And the next thing they're going to do is they're going to receive some emails from you that are also providing value. And by the time you actually have that call, they're going to have a ton of information from you that's helped them. And that's going to be one of those things that's just going to make that call even better for you and better for them. Because 1, they're going to be like, hey, yeah, you've provided this value. Obviously, you know what you're talking about. And it allows you to just do that. And then like, instead of like trying to sell something in your email sequences, what you can do is you can set it up to where, like, let's say, if they've booked a call, you add a tag and they get one email sequence. If they haven't booked a call, they get another email sequence where in the end of the call or the end of the email, so how it's like, hey,
Or we're doing a discovery call if you would like to have any questions or want help in your business, blah, blah, blah. You can have or offer that as a kind of a bonus there without doing more of a sales pitch. So that's what I would do for you guys if that's something that you're interested in doing. Like I said, social media management or any kind of service-based business, that's what I would do for basically every single lead magnet you have, unless it is like, unless you have like a trip or something like that afterwards. So that is just kind of a basic email sequence you can set up with it, or a basic funnel sequence. And then, like I said, work on the automations that go along with it.
Real quick check-in, and Brandon's going to hop out and hop back in. Question for you guys. Who here has already gotten value? Who here's like, yep, this was so helpful. I love the way he lays out information. Let's bring him back in. Let's test it. There we go. Brandon is back. Amazing. Just quick, real fast. Who here got some value today or learned something or something clicked in a new way, or maybe it reinforced something that you kind of have thought or wondered? Because if you're anything like me, websites just feel, and the whole process of websites, it feels like a different language. I'm sure you hear that a lot, Brandon, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
even, wait, are you saying even from really smart people?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
good. Okay, phew.
Yeah. There's a ton of things I don't know in different industries. No. That's how it works.
Fantastic. Do we have more to share, or what?
I was going to open it up for like Q&A or.
Oh, let's real fast. One more time. So who here says, I want to work with Brandon either now to build my own marketing website ecosystem, or it's something I want to look into for the future? Who here is like, I want to hear about how to work with Brandon because I want him in my corner? Who wants Brandon in your corner? Brandon, I know we already shared a little, but I know some people are going to want to learn more. So I'm going to be dropping links, but do you want to share a little bit about the kind of clients that you work with and who's going to benefit most from working with you?
Yeah, definitely. So I have two really kind of like main clients I've worked with. One is a business owner who needs help with like everything with their website ecosystem, which is like one, why I developed the scorecard, and two, why we have our signature system. So I will share with you guys real quick on like what my signature system is. And you can see this just by going to my website and going into BS Media /signature system. But a lot of this is going to look real familiar to you guys because this signature system and scorecard go hand in hand together. So what we do is we have our empower section, our convert, and amplify. We want to, like with the experience, like the empower section, we have our experience blueprint. The experience blueprint is our main strategy. We walk through like an entire strategy for the website, the ecosystem, everything. And this here really dives deep into like where people are going to go, like how people are going to work with you, the user experience, how we want them to feel, sign up, whatever, any of that kind of stuff. We build out a platform dashboard that houses all of your analytic data, so you can actually see what's going on in your business, not have to worry about like, hey, like, is my stuff working or not? So that's one of the things that we do there. And then we set up that sales pipeline. So one, you or your team can actually use it, and it's everything's being set up and working for you there. We build out your funnels in the convert, the website platform, set up lead generation stuff. So like doing SEO, campaigns, that kind of stuff. This stuff here is all handled under the convert, and it's all done for you. And then the amplify section. So obviously support's handled in here. One of the things that we do is we want to automate all our processes. So I get to nerd out and just dive deep in automation. And I mean, one of the things that I know my clients love is the fact that like I like automation. So I dive in and it's like, hey, no, we can do that. We can automate it. We can set it up. And I just get really excited about that kind of stuff. But the automation to streamline, we focus in on like split testing, making sure like we're using data like to figure out, hey, does this headline work? Or does this page work? Like which one works better? And we do A and B split testing to figure out what that is. Because I mean, I know exactly how stuff works all the time. However, data is the key thing that you can rely on, because what it does is like if we send 50% of the traffic to one page, 50% to another page, we can see what page converts at a higher number And so we can use that one to then optimize it or optimize everything. Content creation, we do blog posts. We have a graphic designer that can help with the building anything out. Like our graphic designer created this setup for us. We came up with a strategy, built this out, but then they made like a nice diagram for it. We obviously do website design, funnel design, all that kind of stuff, but we also help with things or businesses who need, like, let's say, business cards or any other kind of business graphics that with that is there as well. So that's how we work with it. If you guys have questions on anything with the signature system, you can book a consultation here, and I'll happily go through any of this stuff for you. This also works through a process, breaks things down on what each thing is. And once again, if you have questions, you can do that. Now, this is obviously this is going to be a lot in comparison to like if you're just starting out, you may not be ready for this. However, I do have something like if you need a platform to like build out a website, funnels, have like a dedicated something that's built for you and easy to use. If we have our platform, which is if you go to behurst.net, this one here is our one. We have our DIY style, but we also have premium support one. The main two things here is one, if you are someone who just wants to do stuff here on your own and you can handle that, we have our essentials plan or pro plan where you can build out courses, funnel builder, does like e-commerce support, all that other stuff in here. Has a CRM that you can use. You can do your A and B split testing. The nice thing about any of this stuff here too is like when we talk about support as far as like backing up and making sure everything's secure, this stuff here has that to where you don't have to worry about your backups. Every site we have on our platform is hosted for you, and then we also have offsite backups in multiple places. So if there is ever an issue with your site, like let's say you're working on your site and you mess something up and you're like, oh man, I really wish I could restore it, we have that ready for you to go as well. Now, a lot of my clients, they end up going with like the premium support plan because they want us to handle it for them. They send us their content, we get it uploaded for them. So there's that option with it as well. But yeah, this basically is an all-in-one platform. You can build out your funnels, set up your payments, build out courses, all of that. And if anyone wants a demo with this, feel free to just go to the reply page, or you can book a call down here for it. And then the last thing that I do have is if let's say you don't have a website or you have one that you just don't like, we can build out a custom website for you it's $497 a month. And what this does is it basically gives you a complete custom site with a strategy for that site. So it will build out like custom design to your branding, make sure everything's set up nicely for you and makes sense as far as your strategy goes. And this is it's a 12-month payment plan for it. And then what you can do after that is downgrade to any of the other plans here to keep it hosted with us. So that's basically what I have as far as how you can work with us. If you have like another need just technical support, anything like that too, anything, questions, anything like that, if you go to just behurst.com/apply, that is going to be the best way to figure out like how we can help you out the most with it.
So good, yeah. You guys. What do you think? Pretty clear, simple, clarity bringing, pretty powerful. Do you guys want me to bring Brandon on more because his wisdom and his calming knowledge is just, it's really helpful, I think, especially when we're like, all the time as business owners. So Brandon, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this value with everybody today. I know people appreciated it. Thank you. Thank you. And you guys, we will see you again soon. Bye, everyone.